So I've got three different kind of, what do you call it, foundations. The word's there. Three different kinds of foundations. I like this one. At first I said to myself after using this for the first time, I said, no, it makes me look old. You can see more lines and everything. I liked the color. I liked the way it sat on the face, but it made me look older. And then at the time I was kind of self-conscious, thinking that I was growing older, and I had this whole apple and toothbrush scenario where I thought if I just touch my face it will crease. So putting on this for the first time wasn't really the thing for me, but as you can see I actually used it, and it ended up being quite a good makeup. I can't remember if it was smudge free or not, but I remember thinking, oh, actually I like this, so I used it quite well. This one I was introduced to when I was quite young. It was like one of my first brands of foundation that I ever bought. And the good thing about this one is it matches my skin to perfection. So that's the only thing about it. It matches my skin so well. I love to use it, but at the same time it's runny, so it's not like smudge free or anything. If you use it, it'll wipe off on your fingers or clothes. And so I'm not really that applauding it that well because it is able to smudge, but I like the look of it, and I like the way it matches my skin. It's just like I'm smearing perfect skin on my face, like the way it should be. So so I do still buy that, but I only use this kind of one for going out or going to interview something special. I don't use it all the time. So I basically buy one every year. And if pressed, I might even buy only once every couple of years, but generally one every year I buy. If I wore it every day, I would buy a lot more, but for every day I buy the cheaper ones, and I like the ones on special because I bought this one for like $5 from Target or something on when it was on special. And I bought an Australis one for the same reason. It was like, only a couple of dollars on special, and I just look at the specials bucket and pick them out if they're there. But this one is something that I buy. I consider it a cheaper brand, but it's not the cheapest. Target, Kmart, and Big W, they have cheaper brands of foundation, but I like the way this looks. I've seen a professional use the Natty O brand, and they love it, and they make it look so fantastic, and you're like going, I wish I could do that with my brushes and things, but I can't make it look that good, but it does look fantastic when it's done by a professional. Some people just know how to use it. But I like this for general day, so I just, if I need to go out, even down to the stores, I just shove this on my face. I bought 2 in the last year, and it'll probably last through most of next year, or at least another 6 months, because I don't really use makeup that often, but I use this as an everyday thing. So if I need to go down to the store, or if I need to go for a meeting that isn't really that special, I wear it for workplace interviews, and I basically wear it all anywhere. But it's not like this one. This one's super expensive. This one's like $55. This one's $20, but I usually buy for like $12 on special. And and so I was like, oh, I'll buy this one. It's a lot cheaper than that one. I'll buy almost 3 for this, and this one's like for one of these. So, but like I said, I've only used 2 of these in the last year. It's more like a year and a half probably, and there's heaps in there, so it's gonna last me for at least another 6 months. And I don't mind the brand. At first I hated Nadeo because I used to think, oh, my skin's reacting to this. It's making my skin swell up, and you know, I thought it had AIDS in the product itself. It made me feel uncomfortable using it. But then, but then you know, they actually improved their recipe after I was doing some juvenile complaining like ages and ages ago. And I met the creator. He was trying to tell me that it was a great brand, and then they improved it to meet my needs, and then that's when you start to realize that it was a little bit of a flawed item until it improved its recipe, and now it's just like, yeah, I can use this, no problems. But I don't buy the lipstick, and I did buy the eyeshadow, but the eyeshadow isn't really that much for me. I like Revlon eyeshadow better. I like any eyeshadow better. I like Australis better. I like Elf better. I like L'Oreal better. Anything but Elizabeth Arden. I don't especially like Elizabeth Arden. So, you know, when I was young, I used to love Elizabeth Arden. Before I was like 15, but then I got all these skin issues and complications, and then I was like, oh, I don't really like Elizabeth Arden. My skin's reacting. I'm getting bubbles on my lips using their lip glosses, which I used to love, and you know, the anti-aging doesn't work. It's just this pretty smelling cream that comes in fancy packaging and stuff like that. So I didn't get hooked onto Elizabeth Arden like I originally had, because you know, each product costs like $200, you know, basically, and I used to use $500 worth of makeup in a month. And yeah, my parent who's actually bought it really hated me when I used it, and I used to steal the things that I liked, like the pink lip gloss. I used to wear it every day, and then I used to put on their anti-aging cream in the morning and the evening, and then I used to powder my face with the face powder, and yeah, I used to love it. But then I grew up, and then I realized, oh, I don't like it. My lips are growing bubbles, you know, when I use the lip gloss, and it makes me feel sick, and you know, like I said, the anti-aging doesn't work, and so it never really grew to be the brand that I wanted it to be. But this one I hated at first, but after complaining and embarrassing myself and then not wanting to buy it, I bought it, and I can use the foundation just fine. It's the eyeshadow I use very rarely. I'm pretty sure that my eyes swell up when I use it, so I don't really that much enjoy the Nadeo eyeshadow. I only bought the palette because it was cheap, much cheaper than anything else, and I was like, oh, this is a full palette and it's cheap. But I should have actually gone to Kmart or Target and to buy their version of a palette, because it's just an expensive, it was a $16 to buy palette for my, and it has like a lot of shades, but when I use it, I'm like, oh, my eyes are gonna swell up and look old and crappy, and so I don't love the eyeshadow. I'm using it until I'm done with it, but I don't love it. I always expect my skin's going to react and start swelling, and I just don't touch the lipstick. So I'm a barely passing fan of Nadeo, but I can say the foundation's just fine. So those are the 3 foundations I've been using recently. But like I said, when I have my other stuff, I've got a lot more variations. I used to have a Revlon foundation that I never really used. I think it dried up when it was sitting in my makeup box. I've also got a Australis foundation. I think it's foundation / bronzer. And I probably have a few other brands of foundations that I just haven't really used. And, you know, but these are the ones that I used in the last year. And they're just fine. Oh, and then I also bought this concealer, which was from Target, I believe, and this is my favorite brand of concealer. I don't really like the fancy brands because they make my eyes sag, so that's a brand that I use if I want to use something that won't make me look older than what I am. And yeah,